Hello, everybody. Bigfoot, Michigan Rob here with another creepy encounter story sent in by one of my subscribers. If you have not subscribed to Bigfoot, Michigan Rob, please do so. Bigfoot, Michigan Rob is the name of the channel. And for all of you folks that are subscribers, thank you. Please just share out my content, if you will. If you've got a creepy encounter story or any encounter story, does not have to be creepy. They want me to put on this format. BeyondBMR is my email. BeyondBMR@gmail.com is the email. And if you send it in, I'll guarantee you that I will read it regardless of what I may or may not think about it. This one here is creepy, everybody. And let's get started. I was traveling through what appeared to be a ghost town in southern South Carolina. Say that 3 times fast. Southern South Carolina. It does not matter where. But this town gave me chills for the first good mile or so that my wife and I had traveled. We had my big F350 Ford truck pulling a 12-foot camper. As my wife and I had decided one morning to just get up, go. No agenda, no plan, just go and be adventurous. This adventure soon would be very memorable, but not with pleasure or joy. It soon would be met with terror and despair. As I started this story, all was well up until I drove through this what appeared to be like a ghost town. And I needed to stop for another pack of smokes and a couple snacks as we went through our small cooler that was set up front in the truck. We went through it, did not want to pull over, didn't want to get inside the 12-foot truck, walk up into it, work all the way to the back and find something to eat. Not to mention, I left 3 packs of cigarettes on the counter of my house when I left, and I was going through some serious withdrawals. While observing this town as I drove through it, for every half block to a block, there were average homes with well-maintained lots, and at the end of the blocks, there was a start of like a business district. There would be a small hardware store, a general food store, a greasy spoon, and the like. This would continue on like this for about a mile. Homes separated by businesses. The one thing I noticed about all these homes was that everybody, and I do mean everybody, was outside. I did not feel it strange that these people were outside, but the manner in which they acted, I found to be the strange thing. These people seemed to be just walking around in circles with their heads face down, and it appeared as though they were like talking to themselves. Just kind of people, random people, just walking amongst themselves. No communication outside of talking into the ground. Finally, I see a small gas station up ahead, and I was really wanting to have a smoke. I got out of the truck. My wife does so to stretch, and I proceed to go into the station. I tried to talk with the clerk, and he's not all that friendly, but notices that we are not from the area, and most likely I was tipping him off by my line of questioning about the town. Excuse me. It was getting close to the night, and the clerk asked if I was going to keep driving or pull aside and get some shut-eye. I replied that I would probably try and find a park or an area to get at least a couple hours of sleep. The clerk said, just be sure to drive 5 miles past the swamp. As it turns out, the next part of this trip would require us to drive through the swamp to get onto the next interstate that would lead us to the national park we wanted to visit. I had asked why we should get past the swamp, and he just said, it's not safe at night. It is not safe at night. Just get through it. There, at the end of the swamp, there's a rest area where you can finally go off to sleep if you need to. I thanked the clerk, and I got on my way. I did not make mention of this to my wife, as I was guessing that the clerk at the gas station was just trying to scare me, being that I was new to these parts and all. After an hour of driving through the swamp, I was getting dreary, and my wife was already nodding off. So against the advice of the clerk, I pulled off the road to the edge of the swamp line. I was very impressed at the road I was traveling, and the swamp had a lot of woods on dry ground, while some areas was just that, a swampy mess. I parked my truck away from the water, nestled it back into the woods, and the moon was directly above us, illuminating the inside of the truck, which was kind of comforting. Then I fell asleep, clawing, scraping, nails against metal. What a wild dream, I thought. The dream was creepy, and I, once again, needed a smoke. So I look over to my wife, still sound asleep, and decided to exit the truck. Then, just before I opened the truck door, I remembered what the gas station attendant told me about the swamp not being safe. I went into my center console and retrieved my .357 Magnum and exited my truck. What happens next is what really sends me off. It blows my mind, running with terror. Upon exiting the truck, I proceeded back towards the trailer, when to my dismay, I see 4 long scratches paralleling each other, running at least 3 feet along the trailer, leaving at least a half-inch gouge in the metal. I then realized I was not dreaming. I was awake while this activity was taking place. I'm scared now, yet perplexed, and somewhat want to figure out what type of animal could do this. I had to eliminate any animal on 4 legs, as these scratches alongside the trailer were at least 7 feet from the ground. What is that tall? I screamed to myself inside my conscious mind. Then I see what did this, and could not believe what I was seeing. I had stepped around to the back of the trailer to do a full inspection before leaving. Then, as my eyes peered into the swamp line, I see a set of glowing green eyes staring back at me from 20 yards away. The set of eyes stood roughly 4 feet from the ground, so I'm thinking whatever this is was not tall enough. At the same time, I'm still getting very scared. I slowly start to retreat back to my truck as I want to get out of here as fast as I can. Now, this 4-foot being in the woods starts to approach me. And not only does it approach, but the 4-foot eyes rose to at least 7 feet and picked up speed. In fact, it is coming so fast that I will not make it back to my truck. I start to panic. The face now is illuminated by the moon. I cannot believe this. This is a giant wolf with a huge head and a long snout exposing razor-sharp fangs from the mouth area. Then I remember my .357 tucked inside my belt line. I have to shoot or be ripped to pieces, I'm thinking. It had to be 10 yards in front of me, and this thing towers over me, and I fire. I hit it on the upper right side of the shoulder. I see some blood spatter. The beast howls, drops to all 4 legs, and speeds off into the darkness. The firing of my .357 finally wakes up my wife and asks what in the world was going on. I told her, let us first get out of here, and I will fill you in when we are safe. I remember that gas station clerk telling me at the end of the swamp will be a safe place to rest up. Sure enough, after several miles into the clearing was a rest area and what appeared to be a 24-hour mini-mart. What a relief, I exclaimed out loud. There was an assortment of other travelers resting, but there was one person that caught my attention. He appeared to be staring at me, and I was walking back from the mini-mart. After tonight, I was still on edge, and I walked over to this person and asked if he needed something. As I got closer, the older fellow smiled at me and said, I am sorry. Did not mean to stare at you. You looked like a person I knew. I said, oh, that's okay. As I'm ready to leave, I noticed the old man's right arm is in a sling. And I had to ask, what happened to the arm? He replied, kind of grins at me and says, "Stupid hunty accident back in the swamp." Then he said, the same words the gas station attendant said to me earlier in the day. "The swamp is not safe at night." I will never forget this trip nor those words. Signed, Kevin. Hope you guys like that. That is creepy. How come these emails I get, there's always an old man involved in the end? Just food for thought. I don't know. I thought it was creepy. Who knows? Take it for what it will, what you will. I'm taking it for what I will as a great story. You never know what's out there, these swamps, these woods. I know Dogman exists. I even think werewolves exist. What are your thoughts? Thank you for tuning in today. I'll see you next week with a cool Bigfoot tale. Have a great day. BMR's out.